Right now at noon, IMPD is investigating a shooting that injured 2 women following a busy weekend here in Indianapolis.
And we are enjoying what I would label weather perfection here. We've got sunshine, a few clouds around, but we will transition to a return of severe storms, that timeline ahead.
Plus, 2 teams and cities celebrating historic wins today after the New York Knicks and Carolina Hurricanes bring home their titles. Thanks for joining us for 13 News at Noon. I'm Anna Chalker alongside Sean Ash. A beautiful Monday in store to get your week started.
Yes.
It's really a break from what we had last week,
Yes.
and it's going to come right back
tomorrow.
Yeah,
I know. Listen, enjoy it while it lasts here. This time tomorrow, we'll probably have some storms at least approaching the western state line. And then Wednesday, unfortunately, looking like a rather bumpy day. We'll get to that in a moment. Let me give you the good news first.
Yes.
And man, what a great day it is. Oh, goodness. If you're not a fan of real humid summer weather, then you are loving this picture. Look at those puffy clouds out there, enjoying it. 68 degrees with a dew point of 49. If you recall last week, those dew points were in the 70s. So this is very dry to, even for June, we would label it crisp air that's out there right now. And this map compared to 24 hours ago, those numbers are a good 20 degrees lower. So that's the impact of the front that we had. And it's making these 60s feel rather comfortable out in the sun. If you're in the shade or you're getting in the pool and getting out, that dry air is probably going to chill you down a little bit. Here's visible satellite, a lot of sunshine around. And so here's what we have on deck for today. We get into the mid 70s. It's going to be pleasantly mild, and then we're cooling back down, a quick cool down. We're back into the 50s early in the morning. I do want you to be aware that tomorrow we remain under this level 1 risk. That means that maybe a few storms will be severe. It's not necessarily likely. A completely different setup, unfortunately, for Wednesday. Okay, weather impact alert, severe weather likely on Wednesday, and potentially some strong storms that could have some strong tornadoes with them. I'm going to go a little more into this rest of the 7-day forecast here in just a few minutes.
All right, we'll keep an eye on it. Thanks, Sean. And we start this afternoon with a shooting that happened feet away from Monument Circle that left 2 women injured. It happened near Meridian in Washington streets around 4:30 Sunday morning, just hours after large crowds filled downtown for Pride celebrations and a busy Saturday night.
And those crowds had pretty much dispersed. How many were here at the exact time, I'm unsure. However, we had multiple officers in the immediate area that were able to respond extremely quickly.
Police on scene initially said no arrests have been made, but an online police report lists a suspect description and an aggravated assault charge involving a firearm. That same report also references a 16-year-old girl who would have been out past curfew hours. We reached out to IMPD for clarification on this, and they responded and said, quote, "There is no curfew violation listed in the report, so a valid legal defense for curfew may have been present," end quote. Now to Owen County, where we now know the name of the sheriff's deputy that was shot Friday evening. Sergeant Detective Nathan Martin was doing a welfare check on a home in the Texas Pike area. That's when investigators say a 58-year-old man shot at him and other officers. They exchanged gunfire, but it's not clear which deputies fired their weapons.
This is a very serious situation. Anytime that we're putting our uniform on, we know that we're putting ourselves in harm for the public. What we ask now is for the public just to take a moment of silence, say a little bit of prayer for the deputy, and ask for a speedy recovery.
Martin was taken to a hospital here in Indianapolis and is expected to be okay. Police took that suspect into custody after he surrendered. A 62-year-old teacher from Terre Haute was arrested on charges dating back more than 2 decades. John Lotz is accused of having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old student in Lawrence, Kansas. Lotz was a high school teacher there from 1999 to 2001. He was in his mid-30s at the time. Lawrence, Kansas police say they traveled to Terre Haute earlier this month to talk with him about the allegations. He was arrested after that interview and is now being held on a $100,000 bond. He's due in court on June 30th for a bond modification hearing. Back at home, where an Indianapolis resident has filed an ethics complaint against a city-county councilor. Counselors are required to file annual ethics disclosure forms, listings outside jobs, and any city businesses that are tied to those employers. But as our Alex Almanza reports, they say Michael Paul Hart's forms provide little detail.
Sir! Sharp jeers from Eastside residents at a D.C. Block's data center hearing. A proposal still moving through the city process. Among heated debate, resident Megan Lappa is raising a separate question about Councilor Hart, who represents the district where it would be built.
You know, if our counselors have another job, that's fine. Do what you need to do. But you need to be transparent with people what the nature of that is.
Lappa filed a complaint to the Office of Audits and Performance, alleging Hart left out info from his disclosure forms. According to documents, in 2025, Hart lists tech company SHI International as his employer. But when asked to list the amount the company received from the city, Hart writes, quote, check with ISA, or Information Services Agency. The following year, same question, he responded, quote, unknown. 13 News reached out to Councilor Hart, who said he'd need to speak to his caucus attorney and counsel before commenting. He did not respond to questions about the disclosure forms he signed. But city documents show SHI had a contract with ISA running through 2027 worth $6 million. According to SHI's website, the company provides IT hardware and software solutions for a broad range of industries. While Hart has not been found in violation of any ethics rules, Lappa says she wants transparency, especially when counselors weigh in on big projects like data centers.
I don't want to accuse somebody of wrongdoing, and I wouldn't have if he had gone through the appropriate channels to even file his ethics disclosure correctly.
A council spokesperson clarified to 13 News the Office of Audit reviews procedures for city offices and departments, while the Ethics Committee is meant to bring up ethics concerns between councilors. In Indianapolis, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
City leaders say only a council member can bring an ethics complaint against another councilor. So they say neither the Ethics Committee nor the Office of Audits address concerns like this complaint. But that Office of Audits says they forwarded this complaint to the appropriate channel for further action and investigation. Many here in Indy are getting into the World Cup spirit, and that includes at the Children's Museum, where this morning staff gave the iconic outdoor dinosaurs a soccer-themed makeover. Of course, they've got to be dressed for the occasion. They've got a giant soccer ball and a dino-sized whistle. While the decorations are meant to celebrate the World Cup, the museum says the display also ties in their sports legends experience there. The decorations, they will celebrate the entire World Cup across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, and they will be up throughout the rest of the tournament. And with the World Cup in full swing, U.S. Customs and Border Protection have been on the job since before the games started. During the first week of June, Indianapolis airport authorities conducted Operation Winter Circle. They seized 18 shipments of counterfeit World Cup jerseys, shirts, beanies, and other merch. You can see some of that there on your screen. And in total, that's around 1,500 items. And if they were genuine, it would have had a combined retail price of, get this, over $130,000. And if you're at the games across the country, there is a warning for drone operators. You'll need to steer clear from restricted airspace around venues or risk serious penalties. In Atlanta, federal officials expanded temporary flight restrictions. Those restrictions now include a wider area and a higher altitude. The FAA says drone pilots who violate those restrictions could have their aircraft confiscated and potentially face federal charges. They warn that unauthorized drone activity can pose a danger to aircraft and to those large crowds that are attending the events. Operators are urged to check for active restrictions before takeoff using that FAA-approved Before You Fly app. President Trump celebrated his 80th birthday over the weekend, but before those festivities kicked off at the White House, he gave an announcement on a possible deal with Iran. What experts are now saying on this.
Oh, it is comfortable right now, but we are going to get you ready for the return of thunderstorms tomorrow and a severe weather outbreak looking likely in the middle part of the week, all ahead in the forecast.